on SuperTalk Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast View with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast View. I hope you're having a great Friday. Usually what I would do is share some inspiration at the beginning of the show, but I've got a funny one I want to share. So I want to go ahead and introduce my guest so I can sort of include him in this part of the conversation. But I have the honor of having the mayor of the city of Gulfport, Billy Hewes, who was recently reelected by 64% of the vote. Anyway, without any further ado, let me just say good morning, Billy. How are you?
Hey, Ricky. Doing great.
It's good to see you. Look, Rick Carter posted this one, and I thought you would be able to relate to it really well. And it said, this is a quote by Abraham Lincoln now. Okay. A powerful quote by Abraham Lincoln. And here's what Abraham Lincoln said. The trouble with quotes on the internet is that you can never know if they are genuine.
Well, that's profound.
You know what? So, I mean, you and I talked about this. Well, you and I have talked about this before, but it's tougher being a politician today in the age of social media and, you know, artificial intelligence and fake news and, the ability to empower enemies with the ability to say whatever they want to say. It's tougher today than it used to be, isn't it?
I think it's tough for every generation. It just, whatever the medium happens to be, when you live in that fishbowl and offer up to put yourself under that lens, everybody's got opinions, and it's a challenge to try to, just absorb those and process them and make sure you've got good information. But it doesn't matter what you do. Sometimes you're danged if you do, danged if you don't. Have to do the best job you can, but artificial intelligence, it takes on a different meaning each generation too, just because that doesn't mean technical. I was in the legislature a while. There was a lot of artificial intelligence up there.
Hey, I understand that well. There are certainly multiple meanings. But I thought, on election night, I thought you said it really well when you talked about the fact that the vision for Gulfport is coming together. It's a heavy lift. And that you sort of alluded to the reality that there are, as you said, pretty good growing pains. That's part of the journey. You never arrive, do you? Every day you get up, you continue to sort of move the ball forward. You're driven by a vision, but you never know what today's challenges are going to be, and you just have to face them. And you just have to realize that there's going to be growing pains and challenges along the way. That just goes with the territory when you have a big vision, doesn't it?
It really does, and it's important to keep your eye on the ball. The challenge with being successful in meeting milestones is sometimes we tend to get complacent. And that was the same thing we talked about in the election too. Oh, you got this, you're going to make it, you got this. And you never have it unless you have to earn it every day. It's like credibility. You can ruin it in a moment for a lifetime, but you have to earn that trust every day, particularly as an elected official. But the key is you can't rest on your laurels. There is so much going on, and we're on a heck of a pace. And so the challenge is, how do you keep pace with the growth you've created? We had a very long discussion yesterday in council about, what brings developers here and what incentives you provide outside of creating an environment, a city where people want to be. And that's our first goal, is creating a place where people are successful and enjoy being here and enjoy the interaction and the amenities we provide. So I think we've done a heck of a job creating and building on a foundation with those type of principles, Ricky. But it's like Governor Bryant used to say, it's cooperation. We got a lot of folks competing in one of the same things we want. Fortunately, in this coastal community, it's saying all the time, it's a remarkable version of paradise.
Yeah,
there are things we have to do, but on the flip side, people want to criticize and find the negative in everything, and that's what I think social media has made things difficult. You've got self-appointed experts on everything wrong, and people forget about the great things we have going on, and we don't really focus on that. It's not to ignore the challenges we have, but just know we're working towards them and on them. But for some things, there's not a fix. And when you're dealing with human beings, you're going to have issues, and they change every day. But the part of being mindful of the blessings we have in South Mississippi, this is an awesome place. But the beatdown occurs and the character assassination occurs. It really does have an effect on folks in my line of work. You talk about Milton Segura. I mean, he's probably a superstar in his world, and he's getting criticized for God knows what. But the fact of the matter is, he's the first guy we've seen use metrics to talk about how our growth is happening and how we're making not just a difference, but we're leading in many respects in doing things that we've never done before. Yet when you're successful, people tend to come out of the woodwork and try to beat you down. It's like those crabs in the pot. It's boiling and nobody gets up because everybody pulls everybody down. And one of our buddies always says, on the coast in particular, we're successful in spite of ourselves. Mm-hmm. We do really good, and it's part of it's because there's enough folks that recognize how good it is here and where the opportunities are, and that it's better to say something positive and good and try to do well than fall into that gutter of negativity when there's really so much to be thankful for. And so we got to keep that message in, and understanding that we're better together, and that's a mindset as well as a practice.
I had two good conversations recently with two people that I'll bring to light now. One with Fofo Gillich, and he said a really interesting thing. And I know that you see this and understand it because it's what you experience every day. But he said that opportunity is like holding water. You're not going to hold it for very long. And when the opportunity comes up, and you may get hit several times in a day with something that may not seem like it's a big opportunity, and the more you focus on it, you go, oh my goodness, look who's behind this. Look how much money they're willing to invest. One over here may seem better than it, it actually is, does seem better than it is. It seems like a big deal. They've done a good job of presenting, but then you look behind it and you say, I'm not so sure about this one. But the reality is, you got to look at them all, like every single one of them might come true. And you're getting inundated, aren't you? You're getting the opportunities that are coming to the city of Gulfport these days are really beginning to be real and be part of the vision that you have for the city of Gulfport.
Well, it's the one coach thing, what benefits one, but what benefits us all, ultimately, if we do it right. And what negatively impacts us has a reverberation too. And, one of the chips on your shoulder and mine too is how Mississippi is stereotyped. And we work every day to try to fix that because, again, people discover it and say, oh, man, it's really great. Fofo is a great example of that positivity, how the attitude, how you convey things. He's very focused on Biloxi, which is his job, but he sees the larger picture, and that's what we're trying to convey amongst our colleagues. The other thing I've been talking about is we're responsible for a lot of taxpayer dollars, and we need to make sure they're applied appropriately and correctly. But sometimes we get so wrapped up, and I say this from the federal, state, and local level, about the control component, which is a fiduciary responsibility. But sometimes we hold on to it so tightly we make things harder than they have to be.
Yeah.
And so that's the trick. That's that balancing act, trying to make sure that we are using the monies appropriately for the benefit of our communities, to enhance things, but also to attract more businesses into the area where people do want to come and, again, enjoy all that we have to offer.
Well, you mentioned Milton Segura. I think that probably describes that situation as good as it can be described, that the control feature, this need to micromanage and be involved in everything by too many people, cause all kinds of issues we otherwise would not have if we had board governance that was deciding policy and direction, and then letting the executive director, who people have referred to Milton Segura before as a thoroughbred in the tourism industry, to just do his thing. And that's going to run its course. But hopefully, if it runs in the wrong direction, we'll make some legislative requests to get some things tweaked, and we can fix that. I mentioned two conversations. The other was with David Parker, your economic development guy, and had a terrific conversation with him. And he understands what his role is, and we talked about just in general. Putting the best foot forward for the city of Gulfport and helping to sort of establish the vision to continue to focus on creating this great sense of place. And the other thing we talked about is the upcoming Ugly Tie Festival, which had to be postponed. But what a great opportunity for the city there to just have people come downtown and enjoy downtown. You're excited about that, aren't you?
We've always been a festival city, and we try to promote and find things that take advantage of our year-round climate. We're coming up on the 25th anniversary of Cruising the Coast, and that started with a small idea and blossomed into one of the biggest draws in America. And so with our vibrant downtowns from one end of the coast to the other, there's every opportunity and reason to again, celebrate our community, and share it with other folks. And so, we're always trying to think, and this deal right here is going to be a whole lot of fun, and it could blossom as well. We've tried things that didn't stick, and we've tried things that do, but the fact is you're putting stuff out there. And right now is a prime time. Folks are just looking for reasons to get out. COVID has made it even more emphasis on that, people coming out and wanting to do it and have money in their pockets. But it's the interaction that we enjoy, down our way, and we want folks to experience that. So this looks and feels and sounds like a lot of fun, with the different components. With the dad thing, the ugly tie contest, but I think the classic motorcycles is maybe something that we haven't taken advantage of, because there's a lot of clubs and groups that do that. And then just the food trucks, that is a pretty hot topic now, and folks really like what they get.
Hey, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that upcoming important event in the city of Gulfport, and then we'll shift gears and say, what does it look like the next couple of years for the city? When we come back, we'll continue our conversation.
Coast View on Super Talk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
Super Talk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. Super Talk Mississippi. If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on Super Talk Mississippi, and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on Super Talk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. We have Mayor Billy Hewes from the city of Gulfport. And when we went to break, we were talking about the Ugly Tie Festival that's coming up downtown Gulfport. And why don't you give a few specifics about that? Where did the idea come from, Billy?
So, we talk about taking advantage of that year-round climate and having something where our tourist economy, where just folks have something to do on a pretty regular basis, and been kicking around the idea of an alfresco dining, some type of outdoor event where people can eat outdoors, enjoy some music, but we're looking for a theme. Food trucks have really caught on. It's a different way to give people an opportunity to get out and try different foods, introduce themselves to different food preparers and restaurants. Some of them are straight up food trucks, some of them are affiliated with the restaurants, but just kind of spice up what we already have for offerings downtown. And so we've always been, like I said, a place to be and gather with Fishbone Alley, with the restaurants already that happen, and the music festivals that we've had in the past. And as a matter of fact, Gulfport's first music festival, Kenny Vest and company were, involved in putting a lot of that on. And so I think he sees the benefit in doing this. And y'all are great promoters, and the radio station jumped all over this when we started talking about the concept. But David Parker said, we're coming out of COVID. It's very close to Father's Day. Why don't we do an Ugly Tie Festival? And he started working on the logo and what it might be and the concept. And then we built it out to do the classic motorcycles. And all of a sudden, you've got a real event happening, and it came together very quickly. We've got a great team between Lori Toops and David and others, and I think the enthusiasm caught on. So, if Mother Nature will leave us alone for a year or two, we're going to do great. Centennial Plaza is just booked out solid for as far as we can look, and which is a great thing because they couldn't catch a break for a while there, and that's true with a lot of our hoteliers across the coast. So Gulfport, we're really strong right now. So they've rescheduled the Ugly Tie Festival because of the threat of the tropical storm, but it's going to be Saturday, July 10th, downtown from about 11 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So it's going to be just a really serious, fun weekend.
Well, free admission. And you mentioned Kenny Vest. He's the head of operations at SuperTalk Mississippi Media on the Gulf Coast. He's been involved in CPR Fest and the Music Fest. He's just a great guy to work with on issues like this. They had just done the radio station had just done a food truck festival that went really well, and so I know they really appreciate the collaboration with the city. Actually, Kenny's going to be on the show next week to talk more about that collaboration. But you're really onto something. You and I we've known George French, most of our lives. George and his sons have done some special stuff with the vintage motorcycles, so to speak. But that is sort of a growing niche right there, that vintage motorcycle arena, isn't it?
I think it is. There's so many enthusiasts out there that are looking for places that want them to come, that are accommodating, and that's easy in, easy out, and we're all looking for experience, and not so much to have stuff. Everybody wants their trophy T-shirt, but you've got boomer generation that wants to go and do things and has the money to do it. But let me tell you, millennials, they want an experience. They want something that is unique and different, and folks are getting that here. So this is something that has broad and cross appeal. We had an exotic car show come in. You look at Jeep on the coast, how big that has grown. So there are all sorts of groups that are looking to do things, and like I said, I'm your huckleberry. Well, whatever we find an opportunity to do something. The aquarium, they're having, you can't say record numbers because every day is a record in the first year, but the fact of the matter is Saturday, when they had a half a day because of the storm, they had 1,000 people come through on a half a day. It's just that people understand what type of draw that is too. So we're taking a holistic approach on where do we fit, how do we round out this market here. How do we appeal? So developers, we've got neighborhoods with hundreds of houses just coming up right now as we speak as a result of some of these things. The school districts that we're providing. This is a great place to get a lot of different things, and that's why the blue economy is here and coming. So more high-tech jobs. It's just a lot of work. Ricky, you talked about that heavy lift, and it's heavy every day. But knowing that we're pushing forward, people are starting to take hold and recognize that and invest here and come and tell their friends. And so there's so much opportunity. And so you look at things, why did we need the aquarium? Well, we saw that was the biggest niche from a family-oriented draw in this coastal market that is year-round, and that it is for families, not just adults or not just for kids. and we're seeing that serve as a catalyst in many areas. So things are happening, and people are beating a path to our door, which is great.
It is great. You know, you can't help but think about this. When Andres Dwani led the team of architects and planners after Hurricane Katrina, I mentioned this during my conversation with David Parker, rode down Highway 90 and came to the intersection, 49, 25th Avenue, and came to the intersection with Highway 90. He looked south and said, you know, this is the crown jewel. When Gulfport enters the beach area, the port, this is the crown jewel, and this is the opportunity to make an amazing impression. If you just think about that boulevard and how, you know, the facade program, the what you've done with the plants and trees, and then you think about how that intersects with not just the harbor, but the enjoyment that people can have at Jones Park. Also, you have, you know, the intersection with the blue economy that's emerging there. It is, man, this is like sort of the epicenter in a way. That spot is the epicenter for what development will be in coastal Mississippi, isn't it?
I would agree, and this is on, we're having a follow-up meeting with a group of developers tomorrow that want to put a multi-use $30 million investment right at the intersection of Highway 49 and Highway 90 that's going to bring more apartments for downtown living, more retail, more parking. And so everybody benefits, you know, from that walkable district. More restaurants are coming. It's just, it's a really good domino effect we're starting to see. But we need to make sure that we keep pace with that growth. So you've heard me talk about our growing pains, particularly around the I-1049 corridor with terrific traffic congestion that we're not used to. And so we are trying to, press forward with a lot of relief avenues, and we've gotten approval for a major intersection up near the outlet mall. But while we're moving forward with that, we're, that crab's pulling them down in a boiling pot, getting fought from within too, on something that we're trying to create as many safeguards for communities that have concerns, but at the same time provide safety, relief, and opportunity for the rest of our community. So it's always a juggling act, and I'm real thrilled about the prospects there. The sportsplex, good gosh almighty. It started before I got here. We did an $8 million expansion after I got here, and we have people, it's booked out. They can't get here fast enough. They love the facility. They love those amenities we have with the water park close by. And there is a demand for a soccer complex now. And we're trying to figure out a way, that's probably years in advance, but there is a demand for that travel component, just like we're seeing with softball and baseball. We just finished with the SWAC softball tournament here, a collegiate tournament that loved it so much that they're going to be coming back. So there are a lot of opportunities. Coming off this election, it was a reaffirmation, really a mandate to continue the vision that we put in place. And this next 4 years, Ricky, is going to be addressing the component of public safety. We recruit well, we train well. We had an attrition issue, so we have enhanced the pay for our police and now the pay for our fire. And there were it's a three-legged stool I'm looking at. First is public safety. The other is infrastructure. And those are projects that have to move forward, that we have to address and deal with and commit to. And then the third is that economic development, how we continue to promote our brand and how we continue to make folks and bring here. And when they come, create an environment where they are successful and create jobs. Well,
the whole notion of creating an environment where they can be successful is really important. So when people think of economic development, they might think of a factory, but they have to broaden their thinking about what economic development really is all about. One important aspect of economic development in relation to the new economy is building the kind of places where people who can work remotely want to live. They want to, and young people, especially today, certainly retirees as well, but young people especially that are part of that new economy want to live, work, and play in the same area. That's why this $30 million development that you mentioned at the intersection of 49 and 90 is so important to the overall goal, because it's a true mixed use development. It's one where they probably will eventually get I say a respectful allocation of BP money to help them kind of make that thing go. But that's the kind of stuff when you develop a mixed use development of that statute, it makes a major statement about us kind of building the kind of downtowns that young people are going to want to live, work, and play in. That's a major statement, isn't it?
It is, and that's one of those things where when you're looking for incentive monies through some of the funds that we have available to us through from the state, and hopefully to apply through the legislature, through the locals, and with boards that make these recommendations, we need to find the easy button and stop making it hard and not change the rules in the halfway through it to make sure to say, hey, what do you need? What can we legitimately provide for? What do you need to bring to the table? Because none of these are happening without folks having their own skin in the game. And that is important. And so if we can help somebody to do something that they otherwise would not consider, and it takes some incentive funds to do it, then by golly, if they're available, let's go ahead and try to plow a path to that ultimate goal.
I had the opportunity to speak to Philip Gunn about that recently, and we're only in year 2. We've got BP money allocation growing pains, but if they'll just refine the process a little bit more and get better now that we have a little bit of experience of defining what a transformational project really is, lots of private investment, significant payback in the future, all of that, we're gonna do better. So I'm trying, I'm not beating them over the head. We're just in year 2 of something we've never done before, but we have several more years to go where we can get this right, and we got to focus on that. Billy, we're out of time. I look forward to continuing the conversation in the future, and congratulations on your re-election.
Thanks. They're not real picky around here, but we'll do the best we can.
Yeah, 64% of the vote. That's they're behind you. Anyway, good luck to you, buddy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot.
You bet.
Listen live or on demand and watch episodes of Coast View on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or tablet by going to supertalkmsgulfcoast.com.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Super Talk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. Super Talk Mississippi. Whether you're brand new to the DIY craze or a seasoned veteran, the Handyman Show has something for you. Buddy Slowick shares tips and tricks on everything from odd jobs to complete build-outs, from small home repairs to serious construction. So no matter if you're at the master carpenter level or not quite sure how to use a level, the Handyman Show answers your questions with a healthy dose of humor and some great music too. Saturdays, 10 to noon on Super Talk Mississippi and on Super Talk TV. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, / I worked in a furniture factory, / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant, / I was in the National Guard, and, wow. All this stuff was going on at the same time. / I had a writing contract with Rick Hall and Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive, fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast View with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast View. You know what? When I have conversations with people like Mayor Billy Hewes, I'm reminded how fortunate we are to have leaders in coastal Mississippi who are working so hard to keep a vision of the future alive and well, and then willing to put the time in the trenches to achieve those goals. This is not easy. It's not easy, as we mentioned, in the day of social media and all the other things that get in the way. It's not easy being a public official. And the time I spend with any other mayor along the coast, especially people like Fofo Gillis, the mayor of Biloxi. And I love the way he says that opportunities are like water. You can't hold them for very long. I mean, what a great image to think about as you think about how you cannot leave a stone unturned in evaluating the opportunities that come in front of you. There's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines now because of the pandemic, and there are a lot of major developers and major companies that are looking to invest their money, and they're looking for communities like we have here along coastal Mississippi, and we're really lucky. So, when we have the conversation with people like Billy Hewes, there can be a lot of noise at times when you're in a political position. But when you have a good sense of where the future is taking you, it helps you sort of, put it in perspective, and you don't get too overwhelmed by the noise. And as I said, we've had this great series of conversations about Gulfport, having the economic development director for Gulfport, David Parker, on last week, and watching them do their work, watching them, Billy Hewes and David Parker work together and do their work. It's inspiring. It's inspiring to see people in the trenches with their eyes on the goal, and I'm honored to be able to tell their story here on Coast View. So without any further ado, let's move over. Friday is our day to spend with Jeff Duncan from The Athletic. He's covered the Saints longer than anyone else, but he's just a sports enthusiast, a sports journalist, and he can talk on a wide range of topics. So how you doing, buddy?
Ricky, I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. The first thing that comes to my mind when I talk to you, and it sounds like it's a broken record because this could really symbolize just about every conversation we've had for the past several months, and that is rain, rain, and more rain. I am ready for the rain to stop. Aren't you, buddy?
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, these typical Gulf Coast gully washers that hit us. I mean, they inundate the land and, as you know, the salt water. It's unbelievable amount of water. I was driving the other day in New Orleans, and this is the first time I've ever had to do this, Ricky. I actually had to pull over because I literally could not see. It's the first time I've ever done that. I'm pretty intrepid as a driver, but I couldn't see 10 feet in front of me. It was dangerous. That's how heavy the rain was.
Big tropical raindrops. Of course, we had the tropical storm come through. I have a rain gauge at my house. It fills up at 5.5 inches. I usually go out and I keep an eye on it, go out and change it, but it filled up during the night and I wasn't up to check it. I did get up around 3 o'clock. I guess it was Sunday morning. Maybe it was Saturday morning. But anyway, when the toughest part of the storm came through, it was a typical tropical storm. Wind gusts of 60 miles an hour. Steady winds 30 to 40 miles an hour. Torrential rain. They say that the rain gauges in Biloxi were around 10 inches. And then 2 days later, we still have the tail of that storm as it's going out into the Atlantic. Still the tail of that storm is impacting our weather in New Orleans and here along the Gulf Coast. And, another 5 inches in that rain gauge. And then another storm, not long after that, a day or so later, another 3 or 4 inches in it again. So, we're talking about nearly 20 inches of rain, man, in a week. And that's on top of, we were already in the top 1% of the nation in terms of geology, the way they determine what the moisture content is in the land. We were in the top 1% already. So we need a break, don't you think?
Yeah, look, I run every night here at Audubon Park near my home in uptown New Orleans, and there's still acres of standing water in the park. I haven't seen it like this in forever. Almost little mini lakes all around, and it's beautiful though, I have to say, with the reflection of the cypress trees and the oak trees up out of the water. But I haven't seen, there's just nowhere for the water to go right now. It can't go down, and the water table's so high in the ground that there's nowhere for it to go.
Yeah, it's a time that we need to see, just kind of a normal, light rain afternoon thunderstorm. Let's get back to some cadence of a lot of sun. Maybe we're headed toward that. I don't know. Hey, listen, one of the interesting things, let's just start with the Saints today. We usually kind of hold them off to last, but what I'm noticing when I'm reading, whether I don't care whether it's ESPN or any number of other sports publications, that there's a lot more being written today about Jameis Winston, a lot more being written, and almost as if he's sort of the heir apparent. Now, they certainly give a nod to the competitive situation that exists in New Orleans, but what they're writing a lot about is this transformation that's occurring with him. The opportunity, I think someone wrote, the opportunity to sit back for a year because, he came right out of college and got thrown right into a bad situation. The team wasn't that good. He was having to save the team and everything was moving so fast. But the opportunity to freeze frame it and learn from the master and slow the game down and actually learn the game will pay some dividends. What's your growing thinking about all of that?
Well, I think Jameis Winston's doing all the right things. I think he understands clearly the opportunity that's at hand. He knows his career is at a crossroads after what happened to him in Tampa. He was on an ascending arc his entire career. He's a huge recruit out of the Birmingham area. When he came out of high school, he goes to Florida State. He wins the Heisman Trophy, a national title, and then he's the #1 pick in the draft and has success, makes a Pro Bowl in Tampa. He's only known success his whole career. So to be not renewed his contract and for Tampa Bay to move on for him, I'm sure it was jarring and a wake-up call for him in his career. And he understands the opportunity he has here in New Orleans with this playoff caliber roster with one of the greatest offensive minds, I would argue, in the history of the NFL, and Sean Payton. It's an incredible opportunity, and you can see that he is seizing the day. Every day he's working out, doing all the right things, showing leadership, and I've heard nothing but positive things about Jameis Winston universally throughout the building and from the coaching staff and his teammates. So it's all there for him, but he's going to have to win the job. I do not think it's preordained that he's the starting quarterback. Matter of fact, I know some people that think Taysom Hill will beat him out. but it's going to be fascinating to watch. And I think Jameis Winston is dotting every I, crossing every T to make sure he's prepared as possible to seize the day in this great opportunity.
One of the things, of course, you and I have talked about this before in the past, but when you see what's being written about him today, this transformation that he's going through, not just on the field, but off the field, changing the way he thinks about football, changing the way he evaluates where opportunities are. We're learning how to run, as you've discussed it before, this offense that requires a PhD. And they're not going to change that reality. It's going to be a complicated. It's going to be sort of suited for whoever wins the starting role. But one of the things that keeps sticking out, because they always remind you about this, that he had personal transgressions along the way. So, was that because there's a character flaw, or was that because he was immature? And the other is the number of fumbles, interceptions that he had. I mean, it was a lot, man. So how do you think that whatever this rehab that he's going through, that it's not just in terms of how to properly direct his football skills, but it's also how to make him a better man? Do you think that's paying off based on what you're hearing?
Yeah, I think sometimes we have to remind ourselves, Ricky, that these are young men, very young men sometimes when they come in the NFL. In their early 20s, they've had a lot thrown at them. They've lived somewhat at players like Jameis Winston. I can think of Reggie Bush when he came in here. They live a little bit in a cocoon at that elite athlete level. And sometimes they're not prepared for all the expectations that come with being a high draft pick. The support system they had maybe in college isn't there. And you have to really understand that some players mature later than others. Some players get it later than others. And I've noticed that with a number of guys that have come into the league. And you have to remind yourself of that. And I don't think you can give up on players. I think they can have resurrections in their careers. I've seen it happen numerous times, and I think it can happen for Jameis Winston. I like everything I'm hearing, everything I'm seeing, but it is going to come down to execution. He's going to have to do it on the field and prove to everyone, including the Saints coaching staff and teammates, that he can lead this offense and avoid some of the mistakes that hounded him throughout his career in Tampa Bay. But I don't think what's happened in the past is going to be any judgment from Sean Payton and the staff here. They're going to judge him on what he does here in New Orleans.
Well, you got to be smart. You got to make good decisions both on the field and off the field. You have to sign up for the Saints system. And if they don't think that you're able to sort of fit into their mold of what that system is, they're not going to spend the time on you. So the fact that they're spending the time on him is an indication that they like what they see. So when we come back, we'll see what else is in the news as it relates to the Saints, what's the latest on the Pelicans, and then Ole Miss's baseball coach was being strongly considered for LSU. That's not happening. So we'll get the latest on that as well. We'll see you after this break.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi, your new home for the Ben Shapiro Show.
We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth.
The most electrifying national talk show on air today.
We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Ben Shapiro, brutally breaking down the issues of the day.
From politics to pop culture, we take a look at all of it. So don't miss out.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We're talking to Del Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, two streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera slips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast. You had a great conversation at the beginning of the show with Jeff Duncan from The Athletic about the latest on Jameis Winston and the quarterback competition in New Orleans. And that's going to be such an interesting part of the offseason for the Saints this year. I just can't tell you how interesting that's going to be. Hey, incidentally, the Saints have been looking for a new voice of the Saints, and they got their man. Not a big surprise, but Jeff, you had previously said that Mike Haas might not have his name in the hat, but he seems excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, actually, you know, I heard he was the front runner way back when Zach Strief resigned to take a job with the coaching staff. And it proved to be true. And Mike's going to do a great job. He's a great guy, very respected broadcaster here in the New Orleans market. And I know he's extremely excited about it. I think he's going to have a long run being the play-by-play guy. And there were some elite level candidates in the mix there for that job. It was a very attractive job. It still has that status. So I'm really excited to see how Mike does. I know he and Deuce McAllister are going to form a great team. And, you know, that's a big job, as you know, high profile here in New Orleans. People still listen to the radio call of the game with their TV sets on.
Yeah, they really do. As they said, Mike checks all the boxes. Long history, sideline reporter. He's done work in sports for WWL. He's been an anchor for WWL. He's extraordinarily well respected in the city. Knows the Saints' history. You're right. I think he might be the next Jim Henderson. He might be there for a long time. It's probably his as long as he wants it, because people are going to enjoy. His voice is familiar. He's a really good play-by-play guy. He's just a great fit. And I know you know him well, and you probably are pretty excited about him getting that job.
Yeah, I really am. And I think it's going to be a really smooth, seamless transition for him and Deuce. I know they're familiar with each other. So I know WWL's got to be ecstatic to have a person of that quality here in the New Orleans market. That's hard to find somebody of Mike's caliber. He's obviously had an established, respected broadcast career here over the years at WWL. And he knows the Saints up and down. I mean, he's been the sideline reporter for the last 5 or so years at every home game. So I think for Saints fans, it'll be a familiar voice and a New Orleanian calling their games, which I think is important.
No doubt about it. Anything else on the Saints before we shift gears?
No, well, look, training camp starts the 29th. It's going to be here before you know it. Players will report the day before. And, it's going to be a hot one, Ricky. I mean, it always is down here, but I think there's going to be a lot of excitement. Fans are going to be allowed to come. And I think that's going to be huge for people who hadn't had a chance to get out and see the Saints up close and personal. So I really can't wait for it to start.
Well, okay, so now speaking for Mississippians, and especially those who follow the University of Mississippi Ole Miss baseball, we were really pleased to hear that we get to keep our coach here. What's the latest on that front?
Well, he was a top candidate for LSU, and I know that Scott Woodward, the athletic director, had targeted him. It's a really fascinating search right now. I mean, LSU is arguably the premier coaching job in all of college baseball. The resources they have, they lead the nation every year in attendance. It's a premier job, but finding the right fit, I think, for Scott Woodward's proved a little elusive right now. He's pursued a number of candidates and for different reasons hasn't found the right fit. I'm sure he's going to get a quality coach there. I mean, I've heard a number of other maybe younger candidates, but Scott Woodward's track record so far in his hires, Ricky, at LSU has been to find established, proven head coaches. And that's what Bianco was, obviously. He does an unbelievable job at Ole Miss. And I think there was a lot of people thought he might come to LSU. His son's on the team here. He's coached here before. But for whatever reason, I think he just couldn't leave Ole Miss. It's such a great situation there. Anybody that's been to games at Ole Miss knows the special environment they have. So I'm happy he's staying at Ole Miss because I think that program is going to continue to be a national power with him leading the way.
I can't agree more. With Southern Miss doing well, and of course Mississippi State doing extraordinarily well, and Ole Miss has some great talent coming up and get to keep their coaches. It's going to be another great year for baseball in Mississippi next year. Hey, so what you hearing about the Pelicans these days?
Well, they're deep in the throes of their coaching search, and we've talked about it before on the program. I mean, this is a critical hire. I can't emphasize that enough. One name out of the mix this week, Rick Carlisle, the longtime head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, just got hired by the Indiana Pacers. And it looks like that a couple of other younger candidates that the Pelicans were looking at, Ime Udoka, looks like he's not going to be available. He's going to get a head coaching job. So I think the Pelicans are going to go for a young, on the rise, kind of try and catch a star on the way up candidate. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One, I think they have a young roster, and they want someone that can identify with these young players. That was probably a miscalculation with Stan Van Gundy. And then the other thing is, frankly, and this is no secret, they've got to get someone relatively cheap because they still owe Stan Van Gundy close to $10 million on his contract by letting him go. And then they still are paying Alvin Gentry for letting him go a year early. So all that money that's being owed to people not working for Gail Benson is probably going to have an effect on how much they can spend on this next coaching search.
Well, Jeff, we'll continue to watch that closely. You're getting some interesting insights, and we'll go dive a little bit deeper on some of those possibilities next week. But anyway, until we can meet again, I look forward to visiting with you next week. It's been great to talk to you, Jeff Duncan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I look forward to it next week.
Yeah, have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.